Hello friends, my name is the Silent Cartographer and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make parchment paper in Photoshop from straight up nothing. Um, this is going to be a really quick tutorial, even quicker if all you want is a very simple solution. But yeah, let's just get into it before I waste any more time. So first things first, you're going to want to select a color. Brown works great. I love orange, I love red. They have some great middle ground browns. Any dark brown works. And once you found one you liked, you're gonna paint your background the darker brown. Now I'm gonna put a pause in right here because if you're one of the people who doesn't really want to spend a lot of time on this, you want a one and done kind of simple solution, you are already done. Go to the description of this video and download the brush file that's going to be in a Google Drive. That brush file will give you access to this Parchment brush. It's Parchment 3 is the brush name of it. And if this is serviceable enough for you, if this is what you're looking for, you are done. Congratulations, you have your brush, you have your tutorial. If you don't know how to import a brush, Window, Brushes, this opens the brush window. This drop-down menu right here, Import Brushes, and then select the file you just downloaded. However, if you don't want to do just that, and you actually want to stylize it and kind of get more artistic with things, then I will now show you how to do that. So really quickly, we're going to start the same way. We're going to take a darker brown. Any brown works, or any color really works. And then I use the paint bucket tool and just paint the whole thing brown. Once we've done that, it's very important that you select a lighter color. Whatever your secondary color is going to be, select it now or forever hold your peace. I chose this nice beige, close to white, far from gray. Works for me. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a new layer. Always add a new layer when you're adding more paint. And we're going to add a filter to our picture. We're going to add a render. So we're going to render in clouds. Why would we render in clouds? Well, I'll give you an example. On this image right here, there are clouds in this image. They're this layer right here. Now, if you notice, when I turn these off, you lose a ton of the small detail in the background. So I enjoy keeping clouds in the background to just kind of punch that little bit of extra light through the really dark sections of your painting. However, this looks like crap. Why does this look so blown out and ridiculous? Well, that's because my opacity is way too high. Down here in the layers, you want to cut the opacity down to maybe 35 if you're using a really light color. I'm going to go 40 because I think it matches what I'm trying to do more. But really, again, most of the things that I say here are subject to your own creativity. If you think you have a better way of doing things, 100% go for it. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add one more layer, and this is where we're going to get painting. Not with the downloadable brush quite yet, but with standard old Photoshop paint brushes. I use the soft round brush for this. I think it works great. I don't think I need to really do anything else to it to make it work. And I'm going to select my lighter color here, and with my soft round brush, I'm just going to start adding my primary color, my light color to the map. And this is going to kind of be the... We'll do a very standard piece of paper here. This is kind of the center, because remember, whenever you age paper, paper edges corners to center. So the corners will always be a bit grody, and the center will be really what pops. I'm actually going to undo a little bit of this. Just kind of bring it back down. One other thing you can do, and this is totally up to you whether or not you do it, you can select a slightly darker color, and I do mean slightly darker color. Cut your brush down to a more reasonable size and add just kind of like a highlight on one side. Doesn't have to be super fancy, just has to be there. And then you can, you can call it a day. Now this, once again, looks like crap until you cut the opacity. So we're going to put this at 50%. Maybe we even need a darker highlight on our highlight to kind of hide some of the imperfections, and then maybe even like a lighter, there we go. Just kind of make that a little bit less noticeable. But again, this is all artistic stuff, so I'll leave that for other days. But play with the opacity. You can hide a lot of imperfections behind it. Once again, to go back to our example, that's this layer for me right here. Is that giant white splotch underneath it was done using a lighter color, just going underneath everything. So now that we're here, we are going to add a fourth layer. This is the second to last layer, so we're almost there. This is the layer where I add my highlights. So I take my lightest color and I blow it out. I go all the way to like the whitish area, and that's way too white. It's still too white. There we go. And I just add like a little bit of a sheen to where I want like the cleanest parts of it to be, which in my case is going to be something like that maybe. And then you take your darker color and you make it even more brown. And this is what you're going to use to kind of tint your edges here. So word to the wise, don't cover like everything. Don't do this. Don't go along the edge. Give yourself a little bit of like spacing. I like to get corners. I'm just a huge fan of like burnt corners or aged corners. Give a lot of story to this paper just by really screwing up one of the corners. Maybe do a bit less in one corner. Have a side that's a bit lighter. And then once again, we're going to blend this down. And we're going to blend this down pretty far, like 35. And this is going to be our final without the stamp. So if you take the stamp off, this is the final on that one. This is my final on this one. It kind of looks like a blurry version of what we're trying to get to. Now, finally, we're going to add our last layer, and we are going to go ahead and equip our crazy Photoshop brush here. Once again, if you skipped over the intro part and you don't know how to get this brush, in the description of this video, there will be a link to Google Drive. That link will bring you to where to download this specific brush file. If you've never imported a brush before, it's very easy. You need to open your brush window, which is Window, Brushes, and then click the drop-down menu in the top here, and then Import Brushes, and then select the file that you downloaded from Google Drive. You will have access to this. It'll be all the way at the bottom. It'll be your Parchment brush. You can even select it from here, and then you can increase the size. I use maximum size every time, but your results may vary. Have fun. Do what you got to do. And so for this one, I usually like to take my darkest color, make it even darker, and then click. That looks pretty grungy. So once again, I'm going to take it and I'm going to cut the opacity by like 60%. And there you go. There's a very simple way to get grungy paper. Incidentally, you can also go a completely different route with it. You can use your lightest color. And you can use that if you want to get it to look like a faded or almost like photocopied look to it where it's been scanned 100 times. You can also do both. You can absolutely do both. I always do both on my documents, and I usually put the light one at really low, like a 25, and then I get something like that. But yeah, so that's my tutorial on how to make basic parchment paper in Photoshop from absolutely nothing. Once you get it down, you can do this in maybe 5 minutes. It's not a particularly intense process, but you can get some pretty good results from it. And overall, I think it's a worthwhile tool for your collection if you're big into fantasy art or fantasy art assets for things like Dungeons and Dragons. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave me a thumbs up and a comment. If you didn't, then feel free to leave me a thumbs down and a comment. And I will see you the next time I have something to bring to the table.